As the late great Ogilvy Maurice Hedgehog once said, gotta go fast. And this is absolutely true for me because I have a very important relay race coming up that I cannot lose. The only problem is, I make Spore videos on YouTube, which by association means that I have no friends. I am lonely. I am really, really lonely. But there is hope, because if you would remember, the 2008 video game Spore is the greatest piece of life simulation technology ever invented. Perhaps then, by running a series of tests on multiple different specimens, I could create the fastest creature in existence, leaving my relay race rivals in the dust. With this, I jumped straight into the game where I found that, oh, it appears when I last loaded up this game, I was role-playing as a tomato. I'll be honest, this tomato isn't exactly, rapid, but no matter, this will give me a good opportunity to demonstrate the ins and outs of my experiment. I will be creating a range of specimens from the sensible to the outlandish. I shall then test each of them in a straight 100 meters sprint and subsequently across this expertly devised obstacle course. The subject will begin on the runway. There will be a sprint start down the straight, giving us an initial impression of acceleration until they hit the ramp. It's a tough ascent to the top and then it's, oh god, he's stuck already. Okay, gonna have to sort that one out. Anyway, after wiggling their way through that impassable wall, the test subject will then weave between the maze of stone pillars, slalom their way in and out of the giant circular target things, then fighting their way through the dense undergrowth. Ooh, look how dense it is. Oh, he's really struggling there. It's so dense. Round the first corner we have the bridge section. Very dangerous. Lots of missing planks and potential splinters. And then following that, there's an ice cold plunge into the lake because we need to make sure our specimens are fast not just on land but in every terrain. And speaking of terrain, as we round Cactus Corner, bully our way through the barrels. Just a sec. Yeah, bully our way through the barrels. We reach this bumpy mountainous section which ends with a long hard climb up what is essentially Mount Everest in grassy hill format. Around the third corner and onto the final straight, it's into the ball pit just because I thought it'd be funny. Through the mushroom forest and then it's an all-out dash across the finish line. So, now that my ingenious experiment was set out, it was time to come up with our first specimen. When I picture creatures that are fast, the first thing I picture is your mother, actually, when she's running over to my house. So, the first thing that actually comes to mind is, of course, a cheetah. Cheetahs are famous for being the quickest mammals on this earth. Able to reach speeds between 60 and 70 miles per hour, they also don't really look like this. But it was the best I could do, okay? I'm working with limited tools here, and I know it might not initially appear to be moving that fast, but just trust in the process for a second because when I press the sprint button, look, ready? Yeah, there we go. Look at that raw speed. It's like a Ferrari with legs and oh no, wait, hang on, he's run out of energy. That's okay though because it's all about what this cheetah can do over 100 meters. So let's head to our test course and begin to do some real rigorous scientific examination. We'll be using a tomato as our point of reference just for comparison's sake, so let's see how our cheetah fares. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and they're off to an underwhelming start. What? The tomato is winning? How is the tomato winning? Come on, cheetah, step it up, get your feet moving. Oh, and across the line. Well, first test done, and we've been beaten by a fruit with legs. Not the best start, I know, but the problem is cheetahs aren't used to running on tracks. This is a wild animal we're dealing with. It should be out there in the Serengeti where every move is life or death, and in that sense, I think the obstacle course will be much more our big cat's forte. Here we go then. Yep, great start on the runway. Why is it doing some sort of hamster dance? What is that? Anyway, let's continue up the ramp and over the lip, then through the stone pillars with absolutely zero problems, and just gaze upon the way it ducks and weaves between the targets. That is majestic. Now we reach the cheetah's home turf, the undergrowth. See how naturally it stalks between the bushes. Just so comfortable. I feel like we're in the plains of the African African savanna right now. Minimal trouble with the rope bridges and into the drink at a good pace, making great time around Cactus Corner too, and straight through the barrels, but then a little bit of trouble in the mountainous section. Guys, it's just not used to these sort of hills, and oh great, now it's hiding. You guys were all slating it in the comments saying like, oh, you're just a leopard from Poundland, and now the cheetah's feelings are hurt and he's stuck underneath the side paneling and he's never gonna finish the test. Oh, this is a monumental failure. I had to go back to the drawing board. What was it about what I created so far that could be improved? Well, apart from everything. And then it hit me. It only had 4 legs. You see, in my educated opinion, and I think I know what I'm talking about here, more legs equals more speed. So, returning to the tomato, and I really don't want to have to keep harking back to the tomato, but I started to add to it appendage by appendage. I kept adding and kept adding until the game couldn't even really take it anymore, and oh god no, avert your eyes everyone, my creature has imploded. Alright, well let's just go with as many legs as possible without my game turning into a 90s techno rave. And there we have it. It's perfect. Okay, sure, sometimes in testing it did randomly turn blue as if it had been highlighted, but giddy with excitement, I headed over to the testing area and faced it up against our cheetah in the 100 meters. The race was intense, with the cheetah getting off to a strong start, but using all of his many limbs, my new test subject soared his way into the lead to record a remarkable improvement. We now knew that this was our fastest specimen so far, but the question remained, how would it fare on the obstacle course? Well, not too favourably as it turns out. What I hadn't realised is that, with all of its legs, this creature had ended up being quite long. As a result, it had an annoying habit of getting wedged in the simplest of places. Do you know what though, apart from the odd stuck episode, this was definitely the best thing we had made, and I was confident that just a few tweaks would sort everything out. So I headed back to the creature creator, and this time, rather than thinking horizontally, I decided to think vertically. What if, instead of stacking my creature's legs behind each other, I layered them upwards in a sort of tiered system? This way you still have all the appendages, but in a much more confined space. And I know what people's reaction is going to be. When it walks, it looks like a pile of spaghetti falling down a hill. But it doesn't need to be attractive to be fast. I'm not trying to marry it, you know. I wasn't going to propose to it. It's not like I'm scared of rejection or anything. It's literally fine. No, the most important thing was that this creature was quick. Something we could only find out with yet another series of examinations. It passed the 100 meters with flying colors, beating our previous iteration by a head and shoulders, or I don't know, like 18 shoulders or however many this thing has. Once again though, the obstacle course proved to be our downfall, as it was very much the same problem, different dimensions. This time our creature was too wide, so wide in fact that it couldn't even fit across the first rope bridge. This was the widest thing I had seen since Wide Boy, and therefore it never completed the course. I don't know, this whole legs thing has got me in a real spin. You know, maybe it's not all about legs. Maybe it's more about what's on the end that counts. That's right, I'm talking about feet! Now, there are some people out there who really like feet, and although I'm proud to say I'm not one of them, it is hard to turn down the feet on this next creature that I have made. Cool, look at the size of those bad boys. You'll notice if we focus on stats here for a second, these feet actually claim to have a sprint speed of 5, which is already 5 more than we initially had. And the way this creature walks, it's so graceful, isn't it? Just these huge floating strides, which when we head over to the 100 meters track are actually deceptively fast. This creature is not only beating the cheetah, he's positively smoking him, stomped all over the competition, so let's see how he fares on the obstacle course. It is quite hard to get a good angle of this creature because his feet are just that ginormous they don't fit on camera, but honestly maybe that plays to its advantage because its feet are so big that it can just stride over the wall and skip most sections of the course, and if no one sees it cheating, it doesn't count. So yeah, zero problems through the undergrowth section, just waltzed over that. Bit glitchy glitchy over the rope bridges, yeah, just a little bit glitchy there, and unfortunately Cactus Corner did end up being a real problem. Big Feet finding that section completely impassable, but I'm going to choose to take the positives out of this situation and say that we're headed in the right direction. I think really what this creature needs now is a failsafe, some way to get out of glitchy territory when he inevitably stomps into it, and I think we can give this to him through the ability to jump. And so, heading back to the lab with a pen and a pad, I replaced his bare paws with some new beautiful webbed frog's feet, and this really did the trick. Now my Bigfoot could leap and bound over anything. All it took was a quick hop, and difficulties such as Cactus Corner were an issue no more. Look at how high he's flying through the air. Thank goodness we have such a lovely carpet of barrels to land on next. Oh god, he's dead! How did that happen? Okay, note to self, never use explosive barrels to break fall. Right, well it seems we're going to have to come at this issue from a different angle once again. The most dangerous thing for my creature was his massive surface area, and actually when I took into account his distribution, all of his power was coming from his massive ankles. No wonder he came to an explosive end, so first off, I bulked up my creature's muscles so that his raw power could be dispersed more equally. And I mean, look at those thighs. That is impressive. You could crush like multiple skulls between those things. Then, in a move that nobody would have foreseen coming, I gave my creature one of each type of foot, because as Hannah Montana once said, it's the best of both worlds. And it truly was this, because I think you'll agree, the final product is a sight for sore eyes. Just even the way he runs screams Olympian to me. And just like Usain Bolt when he took to the track in Beijing 2008, the competition was no match. I had done it. This creature was the one. I challenge you to find anything. Sports cars, missiles, the Roadrunner from that one cartoon, anything that could even remotely think of beating this creature in a race. Heck, this subject soared across the obstacle course like a dream, clearing the stone pillars entirely, audaciously front-flipping over the undergrowth, smashing through barrel after barrel like toys, and making mincemeat of the ball pit before grinding across the outer wall like Tony Hawk and crossing the finish line in what felt like the blink of an eye. Yes, he would be the gem in the crown of my 4x100 meter relay team. So taking stock, we have lots of legs, we have big feet, we have big thighs, and oh, my bad, that's only 3 out of 4. To be honest, I cannot be bothered making any more of these creatures. I have done far too much science for one day, so let's just pick one from my creature compendium, shall we? Just surfing the catalogue real quick. We need something that's an all-rounder, an amalgamation of our successes here today. I'm looking for about 6 to 8 legs, fast feet but good proportions, maybe a bit of protective body armor as well to avoid exploding barrels, but no way. How stupid have I been? Well, this whole experiment was a waste. The fastest little guy in existence has been under my nose all along. It's a creature I made years ago. Yes, it's all so clear now. My 4th member will be Mr. Pinchy. Oh, Mr. Pinchy, I missed you. The way you skip across the floor at hundreds of miles an hour whilst I stare into your adorable, beady little soulless eyes. And what's that, Mr. Pinchy? You've got new merchandise out on BogBoyMerch.com. Well, that's convenient, and you know me, I am shameless. Now you just have to go in the team. And so, me and my crew set out across the land, venturing to the location of our big relay race. In fact, here it is right now. Ah, what a stadium. Bit weird that the stands are made of wooden planks considering the prestige of this event, but I'm sure on the inside is a pristine athletics track. Oh no. Oh no, not again. I'm sure that invitation to the 2024 Olympic Games was legit. I cannot possibly have been stitched up again by poachers. Oh god, everybody run! Please, poachers, don't poach me. I'll do anything. Just don't steal my perfect specimens. I worked so hard on them. Oh god, there goes Big Thighs. Okay, I take it back. You can have any of them. Just not Mr. Pinchy. Please, not Mr. Pinchy. Don't poach him. He's not an egg. Mr. Pinchy, no! Hurry over to BogBoyMerch.com to get your limited time beautiful Mr. Pinchy hoodie today.